Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg and this is...
Human Trash Fire, Matt Strange, and this is...
When you're expecting Ric Flair, but you get Sour Boy, Muir.
How have you both been?
Yeah, we're right. I've watched a lot of wrestling. I've played some weird indie computer games, and I've done some gardening. Pretty much my standard life. Nothing exciting this week, I'm afraid. What about you, gentlemen?
I was playing it Into the Breach with Powers last night, teaching him how to play that. That was good fun. Other than that, not much. Making chainmail, because one of our group members needs chainmail.
I watched some wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling.
There has been a lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
There hasn't been too much for me. There's only been 2 shows, and listening to the What Culture podcasts to catch up on Raw before
Advertise other podcasts on that
SummerSlam.
podcast.
Do I always mention them?
Don't. No. Down with other more successful British podcasts.
What, all of them?
So this might be the first time you've listened to our show, and as such you would need to know we have a tier list, which is how we give our scores for BTE, the overall score for Dynamite, and individual scores for the matches, and how we will give our overall score and individual scores for the matches of Rampage.
Oh, I'm sure they're all amazing.
Yeah. Mr. Strange, over to you.
Oh, I'm going to do a pretty standard one, as we might get new listeners after the first episode of Rampage. Oh no, a good tier list. It comes from Japanese school system and Japanese computer games. Now it's all over fucking YouTube and Twitter. Fucking weebs. We start with a D. D is our lowest rank match. Normally it's a squash or a short segment, or a wrestler doesn't get over, or it's a botcherific mess of a match. Surely we won't need any Ds this week. From there, we rock up to a C. We often sort of overlook the C, but C is a good match. What we want from C is a little bit of story, entertainment enough in the ring. We know what's going on. We're happy with that. The segment explains itself. It's good. Nice filler bit. Didn't blow our minds, but we're not complaining. E, or match plus 1 as we often know it. It's just that match that's a bit tighter and a bit crisper. There's a few cool things you didn't expect. You know why the wrestlers are in the ring. It's got enough story and enough heart to carry it to being better than good. It's not quite an A. A is an awesome fucking match or segment. We know why the wrestlers are in the ring. We know if the story concludes or if it's going on. You watch that match from start to finish. It's got some cool shit you've never seen before. Maybe it has a surprise win. Doesn't end in a roll-up. A-rank matches are fucking awesome. They're not what we should at least expect on a new opening show on a Friday night of promotion we all deeply love. Is an S-rank match. S-rank matches are those once in every few, years, paradigm-breaking, fucking wonderful moments. The ring work is phenomenal. You get to see cool, overdone spots that look wicked. You get to see paradigm-breaking moves, shock storylines. You know why it's there. Maybe it's a biker gang fighting an undead wizard in a graveyard. Maybe it's 3 Joshi ninjas hunting down an undead ninja man. Who knows what it could be? But those S-rank matches, those things you send gifs of and talk about for ages. That's basically what we've got. We've got D, shitty. C, good. B, oh, very good. A, awesome. And S, the thing of legend.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Strange. Straight in now today, we go to the news this week. Not a lot. I believe, Mr. Strange, you have something.
Have some speculation. Sadly, it looks like Max Caster is possibly gone from AEW. We were told he was being sent on sensitivity training after one of his raps upset online communities, shall we say. But he's removed all AEW tags from his Twitter. He doesn't follow AEW things on Twitter anymore, and he's gone relatively quiet. So they're either completely fooling us and having him hidden away so that he can come back and people get over him for a bit, or he's gone, which would seem a bit harsh after a bunch
Other
of other
things
people
have been said. Yeah.
after other people have had controversial situations before.
Also, the
And
other thing about his is surely there should have been a production team that went, no, this is too much. We won't air that. You know, it is on YouTube. It wasn't on a live TV show. So surely there's buck elsewhere here to be taken if they're going to fire a wrestler over this.
hopefully it's all a work and speculation. But if he has been fired for that, I'll be
Bit
a little
lame.
bit upset unless
Yeah.
they've got some bigger reasons behind the
Well,
scenes
you
that
never
we
know.
don't
There
know.
could be something we don't know, obviously.
Yeah, he could be a serial killer. He might eat humans, all manner of things.
The thing will go to cannibalism.
Got to keep an eye out for those Wendigos, man. Got to keep
so
an eye out for the
Worried about
Wendigos.
those Wendigos.
I believe that's everything we've got for the news.
Yes?
Moving on.
Wendigos, watch out.
Moving
Don't
on.
be worried about Wendigos.
Moving on. Social media. What have you got for us this week, Mr. Strange?
All right, once again, speculation and
about
a little bit
Wendigos.
of hope. It's not Wendigo fucking Muir over there. He's been gotten. The spirits from the mountains have gotten him. He's one of them now. Don't listen to his Wendigo lies. Right, so, speculation off the internet. Kurt Angle put up a picture of himself chest to chest with good old Miro with his title, saying, if I didn't have a room full of titles, I'd come and take that one, basically. And Kurt previously said that he thinks Miro's like the best wrestler going at the moment, and that he was always wanted a wrestling, but he didn't really get his chance in that period where he was sort of leaving, and Miro was sort of big. So I don't know, mate. One last comedy run for Kurt Angle versus Miro, maybe.
I think if they do it, it'll be a serious, but it'll be a much better retirement for Angle.
As long as it's on Rampage and not on Dynamite, I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, we booked.
Saying that he shouldn't have been retired by Baron Corbin.
Strange and I previously, a long time ago, on this very podcast, booked who we would have retired Kurt Angle against in AEW.
Anyone
Yeah, anyone but Baron Corbin, who is currently apparently really, really good with this gimmick he's doing where he's broke.
Spent all his money on Bitcoin.
Something like that. Right. Moving away from social media, time to hit the reviews. And we open, as always, just a quick disclaimer, we don't review Dark or Dark Elevation anymore.
We'll never review them again.
I don't think they're ever going to come back again. Though there was some plot on it this week.
I don't care.
We kicked Sonny, done.
Yeah, that was it.
Did I need to watch 4 hours of squash matches to learn this?
No, you could watch 2 minutes of Dynamite. So we open, as always, with BTE, or being the elite.
Right, so this starts off with obviously Ric Flair talking with his back to us, and everybody going, oh my god, it's Ric Flair. And obviously, I thought that it was going to be Gallows at the start, but it turned out to be Sour Boy.
Sour Boy.
And it fucking made me laugh, because I enjoy Sour Boy. He's a funny gimmick, and it's just stupid. So it appeals to me on my base level of stupidity. Then they just went into about recording stuff. Then they started shilling for the new Looney Tunes film, the fucking Space Jam 2, whatever. The Way On Forever.
Or my anarchist soul so much. The bad film, buy the merch. Ah! Yeah. Carry on, Bill.
Then we got Sour Boy showing off his basketball skills, how he can spin the ball really well on fingers. That was quite impressive. Then we just had a bit of more basketball stuff, and Hoovy came in to do some basketball as well, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Then we cut to HH, and it shows the effects the cream has on the skin.
Drug experience, the fucking ayahuasca trip, yeah.
Yes, mate. If you get the cream on you, it gives you god cream eyes, and you start like pouring cream out your eyes. I don't know where this is going, but I'm still fascinated by it.
I've come to the conclusion that this is just Nemeth doing bizarre, like, semi-horror films. He must be a horror film fan or something, and it's just him doing a little bizarre horror film type segment with camera work. And I think that's all it is. And I'm really enjoying them.
They're weird, and I enjoy them.
Yeah.
My missus is really into strange videos on YouTube, like the Station 54 and Pet Scop and stuff. And she fucking loves these. And I'm just kind of watching them going, I'm entertained. What is that? I'm intrigued more than any other emotion, shall we say.
Then we move on to the Elite again, and we had Kenny playing with what they called a fleshlight, but I think it was actually a back massager. I'm not sure what it actually was.
It wasn't a shaver either way.
No. So he was trying to shave his face with his back massage, I think. And obviously he gets called out again, so he can't fucking shave himself off. And then we go out for them to cut out the bit where they went to bother Hangman and the Dark Order came out but didn't stop them. And the only interesting bit was Anderson screaming about they caught a come before coming out here.
Live on TNT.
Live on TNT, and he's just laughing about it, which is always hilarious. Gotta, get crap in. Then we move on. This is quite a long one. We move on to Brandon and PPA. PPA's angry because Brandon's now cheating after he wouldn't cheat the whole time he was with the Initiative. Then Brandon's offered to join in the Wingman, but then declines and steals PPA's wallet and leaves.
I love Avalon so much.
Then we move on to my favourite segment of it, the best friends.
These new best friend bits are brilliant, and I'm loving them.
So they're trying to teach Yuta just to kick out. So the first comment is Chucky T saying, just punch him in the face. Rick Knox doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Rick Knox doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. And then Statlander just fucking starts staring him down, saying, just kick out. I've never lost, just kick out.
Chucky joked about him no-selling a move as well. He was like, our springboard didn't affect you at all. Good move.
Why didn't that hurt you? Or something like that. And then OC just wanders off saying he can't be bothered with this anymore, like halfway through. Doesn't want to be around anymore, sorry. Yeah, brilliant. Then we move on to 2.0, that I don't know.
It wasn't the real Sting!
We're going on about the NWO Sting from the fucking... When NWO first came around, they thought that Sting was going to be their last man in the Stadium Stampede. Not Stadium Stampede, what are they called? The real name, War Games.
Fake Sting story.
Yeah, fake Sting storyline. So they were arguing that it was fake Sting, not the real Sting that they've got now, which was brilliant.
Why are mid-card jobbers always the fucking best? Why is it?
Because they know their place in the card, and they'll make fun of themselves to get themselves more over and actually enjoy wrestling instead of going, oh, I'm so cool.
Yeah, fair.
Then we had Gallows talking about... then we had a little bit of talking shop, where Gallows just spews on for ages, and I'm impressed by this man. He can just talk shit for ages.
He has an average penis that he's very proud of.
Because he goes on about how huge he is in every other way, then just goes average penis. Fucking brilliant. And then they go on about how people must skip the start of the podcast for like 5 minutes just to get past this bit.
I'm tempted to start listening to Talking Shop if he does that intro at the start of every single one of his videos.
I mean, it's impressive. So then we move on to the Dark Order bit, the final bit of this, which was they were arguing about Hangman needing them. We missed the original bit where he places the CD in the thing. And when they stop arguing, they see that Ten's cutting coke with the CD. So to play the CD, Colt just puts it in his suitcase, and that
was amazing. That was my favourite bit. Well, it wasn't my favourite bit. This bit's really good, but the fact he just put it in a suitcase and
that fucking made me pissed because I love surreal humour like that. It just really gets me. And then Hangman explains why he couldn't make the movie. The reasons he couldn't make the movie was he could not CGI abs onto Uno. He couldn't cut the 90-minute sex scene down anymore without losing continuity of the film. So they had to scrap it. And then it cut to a really, really nice Dark Order recruitment video. I can't really say much about it because it's just really well done recruitment video for them.
If you haven't watched this BTE and you like AEW, go and watch at least that segment.
It's great.
Wonderful. The continuity, the fact that, months back he drew the picture he wanted of the top with roses on.
And then they always wanted a shirt with roses, and then that's what he was wearing and that. Yeah, it's just great. When people actually write a plot and it actually goes through and tells it instead of just changing 3 weeks later, pretty impressive.
Yeah, that made me sad. It was so good.
Whoever's writing this plot should be hired by Marvel so they can write a consistent fucking story.
Anyway, so I would say that it was a B, very, very solid B. I had a great time watching this one.
Really good, entertaining one. Like, once you skip some of the they're wandering about, blah 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 stuff, we normally get everything's either really entertaining, really fucking surreal, or moving the story on, and it's great.
I put it at a high B, nearly an A. That Hangman bit at the end got me. I love facing
Elite wandering around though.
Yeah, but that is what BTE is. It is their travel vlog. I know we got spoiled.
But once you've changed into another product for a year, it's hard to change a product back.
That's true. Okay, so moving on from BTE, so a good start to the week, and we move on to Dynamite.
Are we doing Dynamite or Rampage?
But I thought I was going to do them in order because things may affect other things. So we'll keep this as our system because. JR Schiavone Excalibur on commentary. We open up with an MJF and Wardlow promo. Thoughts?
I like the fact he referenced the fact that Cody beat him last time, and I hope it's leading towards the Wardlow face turn split off. Otherwise, indifferent. A little bit of this happened before.
Yeah, very generic. Was solid though.
Don Callis joins commentary, and we have the Young Bucks and Kenny versus Dante Martin and the Seidel brothers. Kenny wins after a 3-man BTE trigger. Thoughts and scores?
I really enjoyed this, and I'd like to observe that we've had 3 weeks of trios matches now on each show. Mm-hmm. Just give us a fucking title. Well, we get a good start between Matt and Matt. They actually do really well against each other. Then we get our first entry of Dante, basically, who this entire match was for. And you know what? I didn't fucking hate it. He knocked this out of the fucking park. He did a tiara so high in the air, it took me a second to realise it was a tiara. So he just went boop up like a fucking glitching Mega Drive character. And hurled the guy. He did that springboard rocket launcher. Fucking great. Both side owls.
Was silly as fuck.
I liked it. I thought it worked pretty well with them.
I wasn't complaining. It was just bollocks, though, ain't it?
It's not pulling somebody in over the rope with the rope. I hate that. Both side owls we know are really good and flippy as fuck and solid, and it was really good. We got some standard issue Healy shenanigans from the Elite, and they're entertaining enough. The Elite triple team springboard facebuster suplex fucking knee strike tag trios team move was awesome. Mm-hmm. I'll get a really good hot tag. The double submission with the assisted scape sequence was dope. I like that. And then we just got more Dante. And Kenny made Dante look
fantastic.
Fantastic. He showed phenomenal agility versus Kenny. But one of the little things is, when he was outside, he got into the ring by putting his hand up on the middle rope, then jumping, spinning, and pulling himself through the first gap down to the top gap. Which takes an incredible amount of strength and skill. And I was just, nobody applauded that. So,
yeah.
For me, it just fucking great. And he's Urigoshi, the vertical drop shoulder breaker is amazing.
Oh, and he's fucking brutal, isn't it?
Certainly add that into his repertoire. And then we finish with another set of great Kenny versus Dante sequences. Yep. And at the end, they punished Dante because obviously he'd made
Kenny look
bad.
Yeah.
I gave it a high B. I thought we had story in. Not a huge amount of story. I knew why people were there. And the match was really good, and it got over Dante as fuck without hurting anyone else, in my opinion. So yeah, high B. I think it was great.
I'd like to say how hot the crowd was. It was nice to, I was still getting used to having crowds back, and it's nice to see them caring so much, I hated the double Rana. That's the one negative I had from the match. I think double Ranas look fucking stupid, and they should be retired. I thought it was a fantastic opening, and I really liked that the Elite didn't win via cheating. They just beat the shit out of them, which I want to see the Elite do more, because they're meant to be these fucking amazing wrestlers. But yeah, it got Dante over like fuck, solid, and it was high B from me.
Now, interestingly, I gave it a low B because there wasn't a story behind it.
Yeah, I got you.
That was the only reason, because it was just a match. But then it had a story in it, so I don't know whether I should up my grade, because there was definitely a story in the match, and if you tell a story in the match, for me, that counts.
It does count. I'm giving you that.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna change my grade, and I'm gonna go with the high B as well.
Awesome. Hooray.
Because yeah, I'm thinking about it, the story of Dante, and Kenny put him over something chronic in that match. He made him look like $1 million.
He just needs to get another 3 years under his belt so he can do that versus anyone, not the world's best,
Oh, yes.
Because whenever we see Top Flight, they're fucking fantastic against someone great, but when they're against, your average wrestler, they just lose a step and it's not so good. But once they get there, they're going to be fantastic.
Yeah. So after that, we had an Elite in-ring interview, which Christian interrupted. Any thoughts?
Yes.
Isn't Christian... Well, go on, Muir, you first.
You go first.
I'm going to be quite relatively positive a little bit. Christian's over as shit, and he did the little Jurassic Express chest beat, which was nice. I quite liked his just silent gestures and stuff to indicate they were coming out, and then they ran to the ring, and it went to black, which sort of cost it. Then it comes back. Don says he's got a really good finisher, which is wrong. He did call Don a carny piece of shit. I thought I'd leave the break because they did. I was like, oh, cool, they waited.
Yeah.
I like the 2 title matches idea. I don't know if Jungle Boy forgot his spot because he didn't say it till he was walking out, or if that was intentional. The music, I'm not too sure. So started great, got a little bit confusing, finished all right. But I will save the best part of this promo for Nick to comment on.
Right. So the terrible part of this promo that is a Simpsons joke where they were making the noise, the Jungle Boy noise. Thank you. And, so Kenny's going, are you all saying no? Which is the Simpsons joke of where everyone boos Mr. Burns, and he goes, is everyone, and then
you saying boo or boo earns?
And then they all boo, obviously.
I was saying no.
That's what they needed. They needed some nerd in the front saying no, so that they could sell the joke. But anyway, it was great. I'm not sure we need this many title matches with Christian. Do we nearly need an Impact match and an AEW match for him? Bit weird, but here we are.
Building the crossover universe, TNA fans love Christian because he's basically one of their alumni.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
TNA has to love something.
They used him when Dubsy gave Ric Flair a Hall of Fame entrance, and Christian was the person who had to go over to TNA as the thank you.
Yeah.
So following on from that, did we give that a score? Are we going with just a solid C?
I think a solid C.
Yeah. Malachi Black promo. Thoughts?
I really like this.
Yeah, I was about to say, good. Like, I can't say I gave it a B. I thought it was a good establishment. I did really like this. He's got good monologuing. It's nice to have a different voice and cadence in a promo style. The only thing he needs to do is, if he's said it's like arguing with God, which was a great line, and I agree with it, but he'd best Best be a supporter of Miro then.
He's Scott's favourite champion.
That's exactly what behind the Raptors. All right, so Miro and Black tag team then.
I'll take it. You can't argue with God. Here's his favourite champion. There he comes. Yeah, I liked it. Good stuff.
I liked the music in it. I thought it was really atmospheric for it. And I thought it just set it off really well. So I really enjoyed this and gave it a high B.
Yeah, got a high B from me as well. I thought this was great, but it's my kind. This is totally my kind of promo.
Whoa. Let's not save the "aren't we positive" to the end of this show now. Come on, I'm too overconfident now.
Following on from that, we had a Miro promo. Thoughts?
We love him. I can't really add much. I like the thing about forgiving people. I love everything he does. He's wonderful. And he's not meant to be over. And people aren't meant to love him as much as we do because he's a heel. But God, he's fucking wicked. He gets a standard +1 Miro from me.
Did he mention he was just going to kill Fuego in this? I can't remember if this was the Fuego one.
Yeah, it's part of. Yeah, it's part of.
All my notes say is no Fuego. Yeah, this is solid. I love Miro, so nothing negative from me.
Following on from that, Daniel Garcia with 2.0 versus Darby Allin with Sting. Darby wins with the coffin drop. Thoughts and scores on the match?
As much as this match was Daniel Garcia's match, God, Team 2.0 is going to get over. They'd best make them a trios team. Right, here we go. We'd get your typical Darby technical start, which is good. Darby begins every match like it's a wrestling match. And Daniel Garcia... No, it's fucking madness. And Daniel Garcia did exactly the same. And these two knew how to wrestle together. I don't know if they've booked together before or whatever, but they worked really well together. Garcia's a bit fucking high tier. I didn't quite expect him to be so powerful. And I can't say I expected an NWA match out of Darby halfway through the show.
I mean, it was weird, wasn't it?
It was so weird. It was very much strikes, grapples, holds, rolls, and small slams, which I normally really enjoy. I did enjoy this. That's putting it down. Garcia needs a bit more of a personality. All he really was man who's good at wrestling.
I hate man that's good at wrestling. He's my least favourite character.
We've got Cody for man who's good at wrestling, but he'll have more screen time. So, otherwise, I enjoyed this, and I gave it a C. I think this was good. However, I think it could have done with a couple more spots, or just to have been a shorter match. This had been just a little bit shorter, I'd probably have got more into it. If it had a couple more impact moments, I'd have probably got into it. It did speed up for the finishing sequence, and the finish sequence was really solid. And as I said, it was good, it was entertained, it was standard.
It was just a bit too NWA.
I gave it a C. It was solid.
Yeah. I've also given this a high C. I enjoyed it, but it was a bit long and a bit dull in places. But I'm just used to the more high pace of wrestling now, you know? But I think Garcia's going to be...
by Sting.
Sorry?
Team 2.0 got beaten up by Sting. Sorry,
Team 2.0 made me laugh whenever they come in. I don't know if they were this good as when they were Everrise on NXT, because I never saw them, but they fucking make me piss now, just be these pathetic jobbers. They're brilliant.
Let's find out from NXT expert Morg.
I didn't see them. They were during the more recent period when I haven't been watching.
Did you think, though?
I really enjoyed this match. I only gave it a C. I thought it was only worthy of a C.
Yeah.
Maybe it should have got a high C because there was some storyline in it with backup from last week. I think I got to agree with you. I thought it was a bit long. I enjoyed the fact that it was a mat match. I thought it was a great Darby Allin match where the heel had the control throughout nearly the entire match. It was a really good, and this is why Darby Allin is a great babyface, because the matches, or the people who are booking his matches, are really good at booking him like a fucking babyface. This isn't a dig at anyone in AEW. This is a dig at the other company. You know, he gets beaten down and gets a comeback, and so he builds sympathy. Yeah, so really.
You mean storytelling 101, Morg?
Yeah, basic wrestling storytelling, you know. But yeah, I enjoyed this match. Only did as I see, but I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a solid derby match. For what I don't mean necessarily a solid derby match, a solid match that Darby should have as the kind of babyface he is. Yeah. It was a good character match. Moving on from that, obviously we had the beatdown, an attack and fight with 2.0, which you've mentioned. Then we had a death triangle backstage segment. Thoughts, scores?
Team leadering from Pac. I quite like him as their lead voice without sort of diminishing either of them. I like the fact that Pac apparently speaks Spanish. I don't know if he does in the real world or if that's just kayfabe Spanish speaking, but I quite liked, no, Alex, no, I understand. And afterwards, he did a Brit lad call out. I've had people trying to fight me in pubs like that, so for me, this promo really sort of connected, and I thought it was a good no fuck Andrade. It's sad that Pac's probably going to get fed to Andrade, and that pisses me off a bit. But I still gave it a B in the moment as opposed to my speculation.
Imagine what a fight with Pac. I mean, I know I've got like nearly a foot on the lad, but he'd still kick absolute living shit out of me. Yeah, this was solid. I gave this a high B, a high C. I fucking like these guys. I just wish they'd gone somewhere different with this angle, but you know.
So I'll address the bit that's strange. I don't think Pac's necessarily going to be fed to Andrade. The Raptor and I were both like, Andrade versus Pac. Yep, I'm happy with that. That's good. That's got the potential to be a really solid match. I think Andrade will win by shenanigans more than anything else. I gave this an A. I really enjoyed this promo. I thought this was really good, and it was nice to see Pac just the way it was. I think it wasn't necessarily the words. It was just the presentation of it, and just forgot how good a talker Pac actually is. And I mainly got the A because I loved Come and Have a Go If You Think You're Hard Enough.
Yes, mate. That inspired me a little.
So, following on from that, we had Best Friends, which was Wheeler Yuta, Chuck Taylor, and Orange Cassidy, with Chris Statlander versus HFO, which was Matt Hardy and Private Party, with Blade, Bunny, and TH2. Hardy wins with the Twist of Fate. Thoughts and scores?
We often have to cut me back because I have a tendency of giving Best Friends matches higher ranks than they should have. Okay, let's see how this goes. We get an interesting start with Orange Cassidy and Hardy. I like the fact Hardy was deleting and then the hands in the pocket thing. And for the first few minutes, I was wondering if Matt Hardy wanted a comedy match because he's sort of been denied them through his career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had a really cool sequence with Yuta and some stuff against him, and we saw a silly string, and it worked. I didn't hate it. It's been a while. I even looked to Ruth and went, you know what? I'm going to allow this.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a slow start after the couple of moments, and then it went into a really slow whilst Yuta ate shit for the entirety of picture-in-picture. Come back to a big shenanigans moment, and we get a reasonable Chucky T hot tag, which I always pop for. He powerbombed Private into Party. That was quite cool. And obviously we had the Young Lion finish where the Young Lion takes the pin, and we got Dickhead Hardy character work. This match was alright, if mostly uninspiring. It had character work going in, nobody really botched or ruined anything, so I gave it a low C.
I've got one note on this match, and I think it sums up perfectly. Fine. It was a fine match. It wasn't anything special, but it was fine.
And we're back after a small technical hitch. So, yes, Mr. Muir, you were talking about the match being fine.
It didn't inspire me, and it was very... the thing people don't realise about NJPW, they'll just see the tournaments, and they'll think it's the best show ever. What they don't see is the 5-man tags at the start of every match where a young lion just eats the pin at the end of it. And this was what this
Every
match
single
was.
one.
Yeah. So that is exactly how I feel about this match. It was okay. It got Yuta a bit of action, and it was fine.
It was all right.
Or can you save this match?
It was all right.
Yeah, fair.
I've been sitting on that. Yeah, it was a C. It was an okay match. Really liked Chuck's hot tag. That was my highlight of the match. Was Chuck's hot tag.
How could it not be?
Yeah. Moving on, Andrade and Chavo backstage interview. Any thoughts?
Nothing
If
good.
the last match was uninspiring, this promo was less inspiring. I wrote down meh in my notes. So I'll pass it over to you, gentlemen.
I don't think Chavo is the right idea, and I think he needs a certain 16-time champion to come in and start talking for him. I think that's the only way you can save Andrade at the moment. Get the father.
He was at AAA this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What, John Cena?
No, the real one.
The real one.
Let's catamaran. Let's catamaran.
The real one.
And start talking for Andrade. It'd be the most surreal shit I've ever seen, and I'd love it.
I will point out that Ric Flair's actual championship wins are actually more in the region of 21.
Oh, he's got like 1 million, mate.
Yeah. But they are actually more in the region of 21. This 17, this 16 that Dub Z have come up with is a number. So, moving on from that. Yeah, again.
Giving it a D.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't really care about it.
To another D. Let's do it.
Proud and powerful promo package.
No, wrong one.
Yeah, no, this was great.
This,
Good words. These boys have got game. Just long enough, just snappy enough. Hardcore words. I love them. B again.
Yep. They're great.
So,
carry on.
Sorry, no, you carry on.
Oh, I was just going to say, sadly, that this match was delayed and caused issues due to poor Cash? No, Dax being hurt. So, it'll be better once it's back.
Yeah. I think part 2, that'll be an even better match. So, then we had Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero versus Chris Statlander with Orange Cassidy. I can't even remember how Chris Statlander won.
It was the 451 splash.
That was it, yes. The 451
Not even
splash.
a normal finish.
Splash. I'm going to guess what you guys thought. So I'll cut mine in first. I put this as an unranked, but I will explain my feelings after you two have explained
You're too
yours.
kind.
This match was, I'm going to argue, one of the most frustrating matches I've seen in a while. This match was 3 minutes and 53 seconds long.
Too long.
Nyla.
We can cut the women's section down even shorter.
And in all honesty, the wrestling started really well. We had Statlander comes in maintaining her injury, which was a side moment of an earlier match.
Yep.
Nyla's adopted the misdirect, which is a really good move for her, and I'm a huge fan of the misdirect. We got some good counters. We got some counters from Nyla jumping from moves. We got some actual, back and forth between them at a reasonable pace. Statlander can actually hang over the ropes when Nyla puts her there, like she's actually hanging, and then she went into the handstand. The spear out of the handstand was fucking brutal.
Yeah, it was good.
The power bomb from Statlander on Nyla made her look like a fucking beast. And then it just ended.
Mm-hmm.
I also didn't rank this because I wanted to hear from you.
Cool. It's a D, boys. It was a shit squash. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Nyla, but you spent fucking years building her up, and then you squashed her in 3
literally the last
minutes.
threat.
Yeah. She's been literally the last threat before you get the belt or whatever, and she was squashed in 3 minutes. Not that like I said, I'm not the biggest Nyla fan, but you can't book her as a fucking undefeatable threat and squash her in 3 minutes.
So, my feeling on this, now you see, so this is how I said, we've got 2 unranked at the minute. I'm going to see if I can hold Strange's unranked.
No.
Thing about this was, it was very short, but it made Statlander look like, and you said it yourself, Strange, made Statlander look like a beast. She looks like a real threat, and she's a babyface threat to the heel champion. And that was why I unranked it. Yes, technically, it's a D squash. Technically.
However, Morg, let's look back briefly. Your compliments on Darby about 15, 20 minutes ago.
That's true. That's fair. But Statlander is supposed to be a monster. She's a different kind of babyface.
Then don't put her up against the monster heel and have her just crush her.
But doesn't that make her a monster face?
No, it makes.
And where does she go against Britt?
Yeah.
That's the problem. That is the problem because we all know who's beating Britt. Because we know that they're good at long-term storytelling, and I know I am 99% sure I know who's going to beat Britt.
Sakazaki.
Finally,
it should be you. Well, okay, yeah, it's one of two then. No, because that's a good call. Actually, it's one of two. It's Yuka or it's
Jamie Hayter.
We haven't got there yet. Or it's Thunder Rosa because we know they're good at long-term story. Yuka is a good call. Actually,
I don't think so.
So I think I have to agree with you, just because you've pointed that out, that this doesn't work. This would only work if Statlander was the one we were sure was going to topple Britt, and if she's Britt's next opponent, too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Too powerful.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. I am now going to agree with Muir, just because they done fucked it up. But
decisive podcasting here.
Yeah.
We took longer to discuss that than the fucking
match. It's getting a fucking D for giving 3.5 minutes to the women's match and not having another one.
Correct.
Following on from that, we had Young Bucks backstage promo. Any thoughts, scores?
Good dickheading, good interfere. I still can't take Dean's noises. Dinosaur, Luchasaurus for our new listeners. I still can't take his meh seriously. Solid enough though. Solid wrestling promo. I'll give it a C.
It was very generic, but it did its job. It's a C.
Yeah. Following on from that, we had the Brit and Red Velvet promo.
Solid recap. Doesn't deserve a rank.
Yeah.
Doesn't deserve a negative rank or a positive rank. It's just remember this.
I think they're getting better at these videos, though.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
So then, we had the biggest pop of the night. Britt Baker in-ring interview. What did you guys think? And what score did you give it?
I don't want to argue that Britt is too over for some opponents. That fucking entrance and pop was ludicrous. Look, she has gained so much confidence in her skills and so much actual skill. Like, we were unbelievably critical of babyface Britt at the start, both in the ring and on the mic, and she's blown it all. And look how happy she was. There were proper little micro smiles in there. The smug bitch smiles were there, but if you know where to look for micro smiles and like corner of eye smiles, she was overjoyed. And you know what? Fucking fair play to her. Obviously, we got the declaration of the Rampage main event being the women's match, which is some of the biggest progressiveness I've seen in wrestling. I will have more words on this later, but, wonderful.
Well, they tried, eh?
And she's now got the ability to do what is one of my favourite things in wrestling. It's one of the reasons I love Tetsuya Naito. At the end of every moment, he does the Los Ignorables, and he holds his mic up to the crowd and bows around and goes, "De ha pon." And she did it with DMD, and that fucking crowd was with her, and it was wonderful. And then heel Velvet ran out, and
Velvet having to play heel here.
Imagine having to go up again. I'm going to talk about this later, but I felt fucking great for Britt, and I'll give this an A for simply I have not seen the crowd that happy, that over, and that just fucking involved. Not even since Corona, but in a long, long time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an American audience I've seen that involved. Moxley, when he appeared? Are they that over? I don't think so.
But this isn't even this isn't a immediate, it's the new person pop.
No.
This is, I'm sure she's in her hometown, but this was just middle of show, announcement level. They went fucking wild.
I'm going to hold you to everything you are saying next week. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Well, yeah, if he appears, it's going to be a reunion that's going to be, it's not him just coming out for a random show.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
week.
To be fair, the last time I heard a pop like that was Edge returning at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah, that was
Return of an old star.
Yeah.
And a pay-per-view.
And the only other one that I can think in recent years in that level is Punk in Chicago versus Cena. That was on. Yeah. It's that hometown pop, but it felt like a hometown pop.
Yeah, it felt like an old school.
Real proper. And I'm talking about the Brit one now. I really enjoyed this. I loved Brit playing face to her hometown crowd, but still, playing face-sided tweener, shall we say, to her home crowd.
She was being face.
She was too.
She's a heel in her hometown, but they love her.
Yeah, to be fair, she could have done fucking anything, but you know what I mean. It was that. This was solid, and I loved Velvet playing heel, not fucking about. Don't try and have Velvet come out and play babyface. Yeah, you can do the kind of you can do the kind of stupid shit that Dub Z would have pulled.
Yeah.
Having a face Velvet versus a completely heel Brit, and I don't know, some kind of main event in Pittsburgh would. Oh god, that just wouldn't work at all, would it? More on that later.
Following on from that, we had Ricky Starks and Brian Cage promo. Any thoughts?
No.
Cage needs to go full Steiner, or he's not going to make it, guys.
He needs a gimmick. He needs.
If he went full Steiner and Cage, if Jordan Grace could come out as Big Mama Pump, fucking Cage can get a chainmail coif and some shades.
I'll make him a chainmail coif. I'll do it.
Do it. I'll post it to him. We've got free posting. Coolest part of this promo for me was Hook's whistle coming at the throat face. The throat cut. The person who got most over in this promo was Hook. I was like, God, that average 16-year-old high schooler looks fucking cool.
Finally, whenever he does anything as well, it's like, my son.
Otherwise, very skippable. Can't say I hated it. I feel bad for Cage, and I feel I am becoming a Hook mark just from his anime hair, a perfectly sculpted body, and little moments like that. Wonderful Hook.
Don't
the Hook podcast.
Don't put Cage in a promo off against Ricky Starks.
No,
this was. That's not. Cage isn't a terrible talker, but going up against Ricky Starks, you need someone Rock level, or in AEW, you need someone Mox or Kingston level.
Jericho to lose in a comedy way.
But you know what I mean? Or a Jericho. You need those people that those people we always say cut B-class promos every time. You need one of them. Ricky Starks is in that level of the B-class promo. I think what Cage needs is, I don't think he needs a manager. I think he needs a valet.
Yeah, fair.
I think he needs a ring announcer.
He needs a chainmail coif.
No, he needs a female. He needs his own He needs his own female ring announcer.
No, he needs to tell us about how the numbers don't lie.
He can have Dasher as well. She can also have her chainmail coif and shades.
You can get in the bin. You know exactly who I want. I want from the 555 back. I want Melissa, and that sets up brilliantly for the feud I want to see in the future. Right, moving on.
Yep.
Scott and Moore joins commentary. We have OG Dark Order with Colt versus the Good Brothers with Brandon for the Impact Tag Team Championship. Good Brothers win with the Magic Killer. Thoughts and scores?
That's right. Gallows comes out wearing more fake tan than Hogan at this one, I noticed. He had really pale wristbands of his normal skin colour next to the gloves.
I bet you we find out on BTE next week. It was a bet.
Oh yeah, he'd have done it intentionally. Anyway, Otherwise, pretty good. Uno, once again, as always, has great strikes.
His trickster charm.
Yeah, he's got his trickstery charm. He did make the Brandon cheat spot look a little bit weird, if I'm honest. Brandon sort of grabbed his leg and then he looked on him. I was like, oh, he's going to get out, but then he still took it. And then Kaz came out and dragged on. I don't necessarily know if that bit was needed. I know we want Kaz to beat up people to show him elite hunting, but I don't know. I don't feel it really added a lot. Bit of a weird start pace and then into picture-in-picture, which was obviously slower. But when it came back after that, it was a great hot tag. Springboard fucking corkscrew half the ring from underrated Grayson, who got to do all of his great stuff. All of the Dark Order tag moves, which we've been complimenting since the start. They're just so good. I laughed at Uno throwing Grayson into the tope out of the ring as well. That made me laugh. Otherwise, not particularly inspiring. I can't say it was bad. We got a win with shenanigans as expected. A magic killer and the 1, 2, 3, and it's a great finisher. I gave it a C. It was okay.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed this. It was solid. It wasn't anything special, and it keeps the feuds going. And I think it was a solid low B. I enjoyed this.
Now, I was about to say, "Oh, Captain Positive's back," but I gave it a high C. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a really good match. It's got story. I think me and Muir are ganging up on you this week, Strange, because I think I'm going to change my grade again.
B?
Yeah, a low B.
What is this?
Low B.
What is this positivity? Oh, I'll have ruined you by the end of the podcast.
Oh, you will. We've got Rampage coming up.
Oh, God. Right, anyway.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. And the Raptor really enjoyed this match. And she hasn't got to see the Good Brothers yet. And yeah, at the end of the match, I mean, we'd had a good time. A lot of it, Grayson versus Carl Anderson. Yeah. And the second those two got in the ring together, we were like, yeah, it's on. Moving on from there then, Camille promo.
I'm going to give this 1 whole at least you tried star.
You know the champion from Southpaw Wrestling?
I'm so glad I muted. I nearly choked on my drink.
That's all I've got to say.
I'm gonna mute myself because of how much I'm laughing too.
I've got nothing else to say. I've said everything I wanted to.
I'll give you the base one. The Raptor just turned around to me and said, "Well, I hope she can wrestle."
Oh shit!
Because she can't talk. Bless her. She is not a good talker.
Oh no. She looks like she lives in a grey world and her name is Ian. Least interesting of the names mankind has created.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It was a thing. I don't want to do it, but I think I'm going to have to give it a D because it really wasn't a good promo.
No, it wasn't. It was poor as fuck, mate. It is what it is.
I really like her hair.
Oh, good.
There you go.
He's fucking got me. Oh.
I really like her hair. That's about the best I could give.
Cool.
Moving on from that, Cutie Marshall in-ring segment. Attacks Schiavone's son. Paul White comes out for the save. Thoughts?
I have thoughts.
I have thoughts.
You know, we only had like 3 minutes for the women's match earlier tonight. And then we had this shenanigans. Yeah, anyway.
The most, for me, they got this little bearded man out.
Yeah.
And JR or somebody said his mother's watching. That dude looked 42.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're gonna choke slam Tony Schiavone's or whatever to Tony Schiavone's son. He's a grown man. He's probably got kids. He'll be all right.
You don't know. He may live in this house at 35.
It's not like every other one they brought out and gone, oh, here is young son of this or son of this. They brought out a grown man who, if he took a few more steroids and had a foot taller, I would have thought was Brody Lee coming back.
I thought it was Eric Young.
Eric Young. Then B came out, he's got some good music, and in honesty, Solo took that choke slam like a fucking champ. I can't say I hated the moment, I can't say I cared for the moment. The choke slam was good. When in the show are we gonna fit in a big storyline?
Don't know.
Do the factory really need to eat more losses to the announcer team?
Oh, my notes were not keen on this. Fuck, I was savage. I put filler bollocks, QTY, and then Big Show's music sounds like the singer's having a stroke. God, that was me. What was wrong with me? Anyway, yeah, it was just a filler segment. I gave it
a filler.
D.
It has huge potential. If we didn't have loads of storyline, the factory had been ruined. We cared about Tony Schiavone's son. And as much as I've said, a load of these people are from TNA, a load are from Impact, blah 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 blah. Big Show is a WWE wrestler.
Correct.
He might have started in WCW, but all of his career was made in there. Where's he gonna fit? Oh, we can fit him in between Cody beating this guy.
Beating Malachi Black when he comes back.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Muir. As much as I think it was fine filmed and everything was okay, we dragged on the QT apology story for 3 weeks for a section we didn't care about. For a old wrestler
was longer than the women's match.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with Muir. I'm agreeing on the D.
So I didn't give it a rank, but I will say me and the Raptor did pop for Paul White coming out. We did pop when he came out.
The Giant.
Yeah. The music hit, I didn't recognise it, and then he came out, and I was like, whoa, I quite like that. A babyface, and I did refer to him as Show, a babyface Show, the anti-bully. I'm good with that.
Fine,
I mean, if this just leads to a tag match with Shivani's son and to get Shivani's son over and in,
get him in the ring.
That's the plan. He wants to be a wrestler. He's probably being trained by QT. If we know the truth.
He can go with Arn's son and everybody else's fucking son.
That's exactly who I thought was going to come out.
Yeah, that would have made more sense.
That's exactly who I thought was coming out, was Arn's son.
I think it should have just been Schiavone. I think Schiavone should have just taken him to task.
Anyone could do a stunner.
Anyway, moving on. Jericho versus Wardlow with MJF, the fourth labour of Jericho. Jericho wins with the Judas effect after hitting Wardlow with Floyd the baseball bat. Before we get to the shenanigans at the end, what did you think of the match and what score did you give it?
Well, this was
terrible.
An interesting match. Terrible. Wardlow's strikes have improved, Muir. You should be happy about that. He's had bad strikes before.
Yeah, he did, but he's getting
better. We got a good Jericho sequence, which was ended by Wardlow just kicking him in the face.
Beautiful.
Wardlow's released vertical suplexes are cool and are better than Moxley's. They look nice. And then it all started sort of falling down with the worst military press ram into a post I've ever seen.
That's bold.
Mate, the commentary had to tell me that he'd rammed him into the post.
That is true.
It was like, what's he doing? And Wardlow battered him for a bit, and I got to see Jericho retying his trousers on the floor. Picked up on. That's how exciting this match became, because it didn't need the picture-in-picture slowdown, did it?
No, it didn't, mate.
Then Wardlow powerbombed Jericho 1 million times, up until the point where there were only 6 minutes of the match left. Then Jericho pointed out to Wardlow that he needed to turn away from the ropes, which was. I liked the fact Jericho cheated, and I thought he would. That was nice. I think he should have been hit more than once with the bat. It's Wardlow, and he hadn't been at all
injured
until that point.
No.
I'd have liked more of the end of more of the first minute and more of the last minute, and a lot less of the 19 minutes in the middle.
90?
19. How long it was, not how long it felt,
It
Nick.
felt. Oh, this wasn't good.
Everything was clean. Everything was smooth, except for the post-ram, which was pathetic.
Terrible. Yeah.
It was story in and story out. So arguably, by the rules of the scale, I have to give it a C, but I will make it a low C.
Right. I would like to say more on the storyline point, which I hated this, because this has been crescendoing with all the different labors of Jericho, making it interesting. Then it's just generic fight my bodyguard at the end. What was that about? Why was it Wardlow? It could have been fucking anything. I'm guessing that someone had to pull out, maybe, and they had to drop Wardlow at the last minute into this?
No, I think it was always Wardlow.
Awful choice, then. The way you've been building it, and you had like Hoovy come in, you had Nick Gage come in, and then just Wardlow. You know, not that I don't like Wardlow, because I like him a lot, but I just don't think it worked at all, and I gave it a low C.
So it got a C from me. Arguably, it's a low C. It mainly got a C from me because next week I'm expecting Paul Heyman to come out for Wardlow and introduce Brock Wardlow. Taking him to Powerbomb City. Yeah, they made Wardlow look like a beast. A million power bombs is a bit boring. Suplex City is a bit more interesting because at least Brock switches it up with the suplexes, and you're kind of expecting it.
Powerbomb's just a bit slower than a suplex.
That was the thing. Yeah, it didn't have that snap speed. It was a Brock Lesnar match, effectively.
I think you're doing a discredit to Brock, really.
Yes, I mean in the same way as I was discussing earlier. Yeah, you know, it was that style of thing. It's a guy who can do one move that was just gonna. But unfortunately, it would have been okay, I think, had Wardlow done variation power bombs.
Yeah. It was just that it was the same power bomb.
If he'd done a sit out and a last ride and
just like a wrestling match to break out in my wrestling matches. That's generally what I aim for in my wrestling.
Look, you had those earlier. I gave it a C. Following on from that, Spears jumps Jericho. Sammy comes in for the save. Wardlow blindsides him. Beat down on Sammy and Jericho, and then Hager for the save. And then MJF lays down the rules for next week. No Judas effect. And no Judas entrance music. Which means the crowd will just sing it for him.
Sing it,
yeah. Which, that's kind of cool. I quite like that. What do you think of the ending? Anything to add?
It's an NJPW match. They literally had a no finishers match in their last tournament. I believe it was Desperado, the little skull.
Desperado's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, he did the. They had a match of no finishers and finishers only, so it's a stolen point. At least I won't have to watch a Judas effect that I think's a bad finisher, so that's nice.
Oh, you will, because he'll do exactly. They did the same as he did with Moxley when he wasn't allowed to use the paradigm shift.
Yeah, he'll just cheat.
It'll be a distraction.
I liked Spears doing his little Hogan points after hitting him with the chair. That made me laugh. But as we all know, I've got a little bit of a man crush on Spears. So, it was fine.
It was a thing.
Okay.
It was an all right.
Yeah, that was Dynamite. So, Mr. Strange, through the power of letter, maths, and science.
I think it's
boys. We've got a rank. We've got a fucking bank of scores this time. A lot happened in this show. We had some highs. We had some lows. Mostly the wrestling was good, if sometimes contrived a bit slow. Some of the promo work was awesome. Some of it was awful.
Terrible.
It's a C. But everything rounds out about in the end to an overall show. We had a good time. There was enough story, enough good wrestling that cared enough going in that I wanted to watch the show, and I left the show still wanting to watch AEW products.
I mean, that's all we can ask for in 2021, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
One day, I went into a show not wanting to watch a WWE program, and after that, I never watched it again. So, you know, balances.
So, onto the
new
fantasy
there
show.
there you have it. That's our review of Dynamite. Now onto something new and shiny, onto Rampage. Mr. Strange, over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to take the lead on this one. We open with some incredibly bad music.
Oh yeah.
I thought, I
hate this as a river.
but I don't like this one at all. I did have this show spoiled for me. I had the first match result spoiled to me before I watched it, so I did go in with.
And me.
I didn't, but I guess what was happening.
I avoided Twitter. I avoided YouTube. I avoided every piece of social media. 30 minutes after the match, somebody on my Facebook had set their banner to a picture of Cage with both titles. Ho, was I angry. On that note, we go into Kenny Omega versus Cage for the TNA titles, both of them. Cage wins with the... what's it called?
It was the kill switch on a chair.
That's the one. Thanks, Morg. Brewing for me 5 minutes before the start. Anyway, I actually really like this match. I'd argue I'd have given it a better rank had it not have been spoiled for me. A good technical, classic American wrestling start, and the two of them are very good together. They both got their characters over, and the match was well praised. And commentary's having a laugh. They did have their new commentary team of Taz, Excalibur, Jericho, and someone else.
Mark Henry.
Mark Henry was also there. But everybody was having a good time, and the commentary were enjoying it. The match seemed a little less AEW and a little bit more WWE than usual, but didn't mind that, if I'm honest, because near the end it decided to go a bit Japan.
Yeah.
Ace kept up in picture-in-picture, that was nice. Kenny's fucking powerbomb off the buckle bump was something to put a physio over for several months, I'd guess, actually. Kenny did slip slightly on his "you will not escape"
poor lad.
thing,
Yeah.
but he saved it afterwards.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it particularly bad. Here into the V trigger was fucking brutal, and honestly, we got a whole good bunch of sequences with counters, rope grabs, triggers, just really nice complex sequences between Cage and Kenny, which was really good. I like the fact that the chair came in, and I think the kill switch on the chair actually looked better than a regular kill switch.
It looked brutal.
It makes the awkward setup look like it would have to be done. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact he instantly threw the chair outside afterwards. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought this was a great opener, a great introduction to Dynamite, just enough story, and I gave it a B, like a solid B. I'm well in the middle of that. Maybe it should be ranked higher, and it was just all of the hype of the match was ruined for me because people can't fucking post things on fucking Facebook.
I will hunt you down and kill you if you post things next week. Raptor is coming over on Saturday. Now, obviously, this isn't to you two because I know you wouldn't ruin it for me, even with. But...
I don't know. I'd kick out the 1 week angel if I had the chance, so I'm a bad person.
But yeah, Raptor is coming round on Saturday to cut down the amount of time that What Culture can ruin something for me by me just going on YouTube and not thinking.
Right.
So what did you, gentlemen?
I thought it was a solid match. I liked the pickup. I thought it was well paced. It was an enjoyable match, and I gave it a B.
This was solid. This was a really good opener. I wonder whether this will be a better match than the one for the AEW title, because you're only going to get one chance to be the first match on a brand new show. And I think they went for a pay-per-view match. They put in a lot into this.
I don't think so. I think they'll do better.
I think they both can and will. But this also, of course, gave them a chance to get to know each other.
Yeah, and also they only had like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so,
but the thing I liked about this was it gave them a chance to get to know each other. And we've now got that doubt for Kenny that he can be beat.
Yeah.
From there, we got the Cage post-match interview. That a little bit of the bubbly, which was nice. There was Jurassic Express was there. Orange Cassidy was in the background for some reason.
I love
just
that.
Chilling.
Yeah, just relaxing. I liked it.
This was
made it feel like a filled-in world because OC's just lounging somewhere.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, otherwise, nice little bit of, I've done this. Maintains Kenny is hard by saying, how much of a challenge it was and blah, 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 which is good.
Yep.
But interview, I don't think it's worth much more of a commentary other than here's Cage, get to know him a bit for the new viewers who are watching after SmackDown.
I think it would have been better if he had like a blue dot over his face.
Yes, mate.
No, it was solid. It was a solid say.
Yeah. From there, we get Fuego's little video package of if I win, I get a contract, etc. I don't think it's massively worth commenting on unless either of you two boys have got anything to add.
I just think these are good.
It was a good build for someone that didn't know Fuego. If you hadn't, paid any attention to him, it was solid.
And then we move on to Fuego's execution. I'll leave the little bit afterwards. I mean, in all honesty, blessed Miro giving blessed Fuego his opening for like every single possible
tornado DDTs. Come on, what more could you want?
They were all different. There was a top rope one, a step up, wonderful. And Miro's surprise face as he rolled around on the floor afterwards.
Miro's just too good. He really is. He's just a treasure. Then he just fucking kills him. It was beautiful.
I'd argue his comeback was a little bit short for me. I'd have liked more than just kick one, stomp, thingy. It was a squash, and I didn't expect a squash in the middle of this. I'm going to cover the other bit afterwards. I gave it a C, even for a squash. Miro had to win, and he had to squash him, but they gave Fuego his little spots. Miro comedied it up. I think it was a fine squash match for your new show and to introduce your TNT champion.
I think it was a solid C for the match. Obviously, it wasn't a good match, but I think it did what it needed to do. It got Fuego his little moment in the sun, and then it just got destroyed because Miro should just destroy him. Like, nobody was going to this match going, Fuego's got a chance,
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't feel like I'm punished for it. Sorry.
I had it as an unranked because it didn't feel like a squash, and I think you're both right. I think it's a C for what it was. I think this is a C level squash because it was done correctly.
Completely.
Yeah.
From there, we roll into the highest pinnacle of wrestling this week, which I gave an S rank to.
I also did.
Oh God, Sammy comes out and
with Tony Khan.
With Tony Khan, and surprises Fuego with his new contract for AEW. Mm-hmm. The cheer for Fuego was fucking huge. Sammy was just blessed. It was lovely and heartwarming. You got to see that proper thing where people sort of laugh, smile, cry out of, ugly cry as well out of sheer joy.
Ugly cry on under that mask, so you knew it was more genuine than anything else.
Yeah, and they pulled it on him with, obviously one of his real best friends. It was wonderful. I get the idea that some people who aren't AEW fans probably wouldn't have gotten the spot or might not appreciate it as much as we do. But I gave it an S. It was lovely.
Yeah. I've got nothing to add. It was very sweet and heartwarming.
And you need that on wrestling shows sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you can actually have something that's actually nice.
Right, this is where, unfortunately for me, the show starts falling apart a little. We get the women's interview through Velvet and Britt, with Mark Henry in the middle, which had incredibly bad sound quality for people who were in the same building.
Yeah, it did.
Mark Henry seems lovely. I'm not sure I'm sold on his interviewing style, and I don't think they really needed this pre-match interview. They should have had a video segment. This is where the booing started. So unless any of you boys have anything to add to this, I'm going to roll into the match.
No, carry on.
Right. Velvet versus Britt. Britt obviously wins with the lockjaw.
Sorta.
I have never felt bad very rarely have I felt bad for a wrestler in the ring. And very rarely would I say somebody is too over for the match they were given. Britt was too over for this spot on this match. Something here didn't work, and let's get into it. Start with some standard issue technical and mat work wrestling, which was actually Actually, pretty solid mat work and wrestling, but the crowd was so dead for Velvet. Even if it was a slow worked match like the Derby one we talked about earlier with Gracia, you can still sort of get into it and feel some cheering. There was nothing for Velvet, and obviously Britt has to cheat. She shouldn't have gone into this match with an injured elbow, and they cheered from the cheating. And Velvet gets thrown outside the through the ropes, and Rebel is choking her with the crutch, and the crowd chanted for Rebel.
It was ridiculous. Like, this match was completely off the rails.
I don't think the match was as spotty or as main eventy as they needed. We didn't get to see a lot of the cooler moves we expect. It's new vertical net breaker. Sick. Keep that, love. That's wicked. I'm liking that. I think Velvet realised about 3/4 away through the match that she needed to up her heel persona if she was going to get anything over out of this. And it took her a little late to get there. I quite like the fact that Britt had to reverse the move and do the lockjaw in opposite. I thought that was actually quite clever, and that's not normally written into a story. Normally, if a wrestler's arm is injured, do the move one-handed or they just don't do it, you know. But actually reverse the move, I thought that was quite clever. If you watch the match objectively on mute, it's not great, but it's not as bad as it comes across watching it with the sound. Trust me. Technically, it had story, it had limb work, it had a bunch of ground stuff, it had a couple of moves that were actually quite interesting. It's arguably a C if you watch it on mute. I'm going to throw in the full experience for this. We might as well review this entire segment as it comes out. Because it's an experience. This match was an experience for me. It's really hard to talk about just because of how confusing it is. Britt goes to curb stomp Velvet, the face, onto her belt. 100% heel move. This is the kind of thing Randy Orton, that's a character. Randy Orton built his fucking persona on. Curb stomps are the heel move. Statlander comes out to save Velvet and gets booed on the way down to the ring.
Yep.
Amy Hayter, who I am very excited about, one of my favourite female wrestlers, comes out. Nobody really knows who she is anymore. I'm sorry. I love her. She got a bit of a Butcher and the Blade welcome back, if you know what I mean.
Yes, mate.
But they cheered her just because they stopped Statlander. It was such a weird and confusing crowd reaction, storytell pop that I always disagree that where Vince's thing that people shouldn't cheer heels. Like, people cheer Miro, and I'm down with it. I get it. I get people cheering Britt. She's great. It's how The Rock made himself famous from being a heel shit talker and building it back. But this was to such a ludicrous power level that they were cheering people being fucking curb stomped onto belts and choked out by outside interference. They booed Statlander. So, arguably, it's all a C. As I said, the wrestling on mute is fine and clean. There's some story. Over to you, boys.
I don't think the wrestling was that good, because I think Britt's arm was actually injured and she couldn't do fucking all with it. Like, I don't think there was much interesting wrestling apart from it started off strong with some good technical wrestling, then it just didn't pick up at all. And it just got more interference-y, and the crowd got more out of control, and it just went to fucking shit. I don't know. I think they sent them out here to die. I don't think there's anything that Velvet could have done in this situation. I don't think she stood a chance. I don't know what you can do in this situation, really. But yeah, it didn't work. I'm really happy to see Hayter back. You know, she's great. And
it should have saved that Nyla title match for this, because then at least she could have healed against a mega heel.
Correct. No, you make a good point there. Because
As much as we complained about it X weeks ago.
No,
Unless
would have
she's
been a better
fighting-
choice, yeah.
Totally agree.
Jade or Nyla could have done.
Yeah.
If they had done that, and we'd got to here, no, and I bet you we'd have all reversed on the Nyla thing. Even you guys would have said, this makes sense why she's facing Nyla, because they knew they were going to do it in Pittsburgh. That makes a lot of sense. That's why she's going up against Nyla.
Yeah.
Because there is no way she's getting booed. So I gave it a C, but I'm giving it a low C. It gets a downgrade for Britt using cheating, for what appeared to be a match where Red Velvet, because I actually got the impression that Red Velvet was playing heel from the beginning. Red Velvet knew what she was doing. She gave me the impression she was playing heel. The problem was Britt and Red Velvet didn't seem to have a conversation before the match where Red Velvet said, I'm going to play heel and you play face. And I think Britt went out there and going, I'm going to play heel. And Red Velvet went out there and went, I'm going to play heel. Oh, fuck.
I think Britt has to keep playing heel because she's relied on it so much in this part of her gimmick and she's injured. I don't think she should have gone to face.
I don't think Rebel should have got involved. I think she
Rebel was more over than some of the other wrestlers.
But she was over because I don't think that was the bit that broke it. I think Britt could have got away with everything she did.
Yeah.
And she didn't play pure heel. She just played wrestler who used a couple of, she played Stone Cold wrestler who used a couple of dirty moves, but there was nothing particularly dirty. Like you said, she couldn't do much because she has actually broken her wrist. I think the mistake for me was when Rebel got involved, and I was like, no, this is dumb. And the crowd, for me, I thought the crowd just went dead then. Because they didn't know they didn't know how to react. They chanted Rebel afterwards, but it killed the crowd then because they didn't know how to react. Because they're there going, well, we're going to cheer for our hometown girl, but we're just going to cheer because, and I thought it killed the crowd a bit, and it didn't pick back up until it went back into the ring, and Red Velvet did the bit where she ripped off the guard on the hand, which was a beautiful heel move. Could have been a babyface move with a different crowd. Could have been a babyface move with a different crowd, but I think Red Velvet adjusted. I think she knew what she had to do. The mistake for me was it just felt like they didn't have a conversation beforehand. And they didn't have a conversation with Rebel going, look, just don't do anything. Just stand there and cheerlead. You just need to cheerlead.
Just give them Jade. I think this match was doomed from the start.
Jade would have been good, but you don't want to give Jade her first big loss. I think holding out the Nyla match would have been, I believe I said that to the Raptor, they should have just held out the Nyla match, because then it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, fair.
But I gave it a C.
What's going to happen? Cater's going to lead in the rest of Odio tie into it, and then they're going to get their old retired leader out of retirement. That's what's going to happen next.
Mate, I'm just waiting for the Kagetsu music to hit.
That's what I was saying, you deaf git.
So, what do we have score-wise for that, Strange? I think it's been saved due to a heartwarming moment.
It has. We're going to give it a solid C. The wrestling was 2 C matches and a B match with an S on top. It's a C with one whole crying fuego. So
I'm going to argue that's higher than that. If it's 2 C's, a B and an S...
I am not adding their shoot giving their mate a contract as over.
Okay, fair enough.
We have dignity.
You're lucky
No,
I'm
we
not giving
don't.
that clusterfuck of an ending a D.
So there you have it. That's our thoughts on the first Rampage. Did miss one little bit out of that. There was a promo for next week's Rampage.
Is there?
Yeah. Where they replayed Darby's comment about best in the world.
Daniel Bryan's on next week, isn't
it? I think just to talk about that, I think they've done a really clever fucking job. They have not mentioned anything. They have promised nothing. They have let the internet and the YouTube channels and everything do everything for us.
Turn up though, they're gonna have a lot of people hating.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
obvious. But,
But-
yeah.
or it'll be Daniel Bryan.
It's
And it'll be a crowd who are going, we don't know how to react. It'll be exactly the same as the Britt Baker match.
It'll be Yano.
Toru Yano, who has a better record than has unanswered wins over Okada, Tanahashi, Moxley, and Omega.
We're just saying. He is best
True
in the
ace.
world.
That would be awesome. Right, there you have it. That's our podcast for this week. I'd like to thank Anchor.fm for sponsoring, for hosting the podcast, not sponsoring. Nobody sponsors us. Hosting the podcast. You want to find us? We are Wrestleopinionated on Spotify, Anchor.fm, and YouTube. Over to you, Mr. Muir.
Right, thank you very much for listening. If you want to send in anything or give us any notes, feel free to send them into wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP on Twitter. Over to you, Strange.
You don't need me to say this because you're good listeners and good friends, but click that like button, click that share button, click that subscribe button, send it to your friends, hear us hopefully be more positive about Rampage next week. And here, Morg's tears hitting the floor as CM Phil doesn't arrive, and instead the best in the world is actually Kurt Angle. I suppose you'd actually be quite excited by that. I should have gone for a lower tier wrestler. But yeah, thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe, send it to your friends, tattoo it on your face. Over to you, Morg.
All that's left to be said is goodbye and good night.